It's Munya Chawawa. Very good. Thank you. Come on in, long time no see. Sit down, Munya. You're looking good.
Thank you.
Last time I met you, you were dressed as a giant aubergine.
Yes, that's correct.
This was... let's have a look at a picture. This is Munya dressed as...
Oh, wow. This was your Halloween party?
Yes.
Now, I had really badly timed my outfits. I didn't have an outfit ready, so I ordered this. Now, I'm thinking to myself, I can't inflate this in the car, because one rogue sharp object, the whole thing's going down. So I get onto the road where I can see your party, and there's paps everywhere. So I'm like, I need to be in costume. I haven't inflated my aubergine. So...
Not a phrase you should say in front of women you don't know terribly well.
Was it a foot pump job? Was it one of those?
You could do it that way. You know, people do it differently. So, it's raining, so I'm thinking, I need to inflate the costume before I hit the paparazzi.
Yeah.
The only place open was a library. So I went into the reception of the library, and the receptionist was Spanish, and there's no one else there. She was getting ready to close down. The only thing I could say to her was, do you mind if for 5 minutes I inflate my aubergine? And I was kicked out.
So you kind of represent to me, it's like a new wave of comedians coming through who come through... They don't come through the way people used to do. They come through by generating their own content online and get noticed that way. And that's kind of the way you've kind of entered the consciousness, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, look, I really wanted to get into TV. I was trying every single avenue. You know, I tried doing fashion vlogging, I tried doing normal blogging, and I said to myself, look, let me just make a sketch. And I made these sketches, and they start to take off, the wheels start to turn slowly. Yeah. So then I thought, let me keep doing them, see what happens, and then, yeah, the rest is history.
You turn them around really quickly, don't you?
So I opened Twitter one day, and I saw jerk rice was trending. Now I'm thinking to myself, what on earth is jerk rice? Because, you know, I come from a mixed-race family, so my mum's white, my dad's black, so sometimes there was that cultural fusion. Yeah. I'd turn up to dinner, we'd be having shepherd's jerk, right?
Because jerk chicken is the traditional dish, isn't it? Yeah.
So I'm seeing now that Jamie Oliver's made jerk rice in a packet, and then I'm on the bus and I'm thinking, what would it be like if this man made a whole Caribbean meal? So I'm portraying the character, so I was Jamie Oliver's cousin, Johnny Oliver, and I'm like, cool, if he hears rum punch, he's probably going to punch some rum. Punch the rum, put it in a glass. Jerk chicken, people sometimes wash their chicken. I'm like, cool, I'm taking it a step further, get the Dettol spray out, give it a few squirts, right? Remove all the germs. And all of a sudden, I've got this completely inedible meal. I post it online, and it goes crazy.
And so, has Jamie Oliver, by the way, did Jamie Oliver ever see the Johnny Oliver sketch? Do you know what his response was?
Somebody said to me that he liked it. You know, even a lot of politicians, I've heard that they've seen the videos as well. You know, one time, I came out of the Brit Awards, and I was about to leave. Yeah. And then Matt Hancock came out at the same time. Uh-oh. So now, we're going down the escalator. Now, John, you know this. You leave one step between the person in front of you.
Minimum. Minimum.
Chevrons. Chevrons.
You see what I'm saying?
2 chevrons.
It's like being on the motorway.
Thank you.
Escalators are the motorway. I look round, this man is breathing down my neck.
He does get too close.
Very close. I was like, OK, I don't want to talk to him, but maybe I should get a selfie. This could be iconic. I took up my phone, and then I thought, you know what? As a rule, I don't take dick pics, so I put it away. Yeah.
Nice.
Tell me about the character you do, who's kind of... Is he a rapper? Is he a drill artist? Unknown P.
Oh, yeah. So, obviously, I used to live in Zimbabwe, and when I moved to England, my parents thought, right, where's the least likely place my son's going to join a gang, OK? So we moved to a village in Norwich called Framingham Pigott. Literally, badgers were the only form of diversity we had. So when I moved to London, I'm now like, OK, drill's taken over, it's going huge. But then I started to see, you know, peers of mine, people I was getting on my radio show at the time, making this music that they loved, and it was being demonised in the press. And I'm thinking to myself, all right, cool. The thing is, there are posh kids singing these songs. They're being sung in private schools. So let me see what the response is if I make a posh drill rapper. Yeah. Then is it more acceptable? So I put on a flat cap, some wellies, you know, that's middle class 101. Yeah. And I started doing posh drill.
You were born in Derby, weren't you?
Unfortunately, yes.
So born in Derby, and then you spent much of your youth in Zimbabwe.
Yeah.
And then came back here. What did you do? What was your childhood like? What's growing up in Zimbabwe like?
It was a life where we made our own adventures, OK? So in England, yeah, when you guys took a bath, you probably had, like, you could watch the TV, you could have, like, electronics and stuff. We didn't really have that. So one thing I used to do to form my own adventures was, before I'd have a bath, I would cover the entire bath in Vaseline, right? And then, well, hang on.
Are you sure you want to tell this story?
Yeah. OK, one of my most prominent memories of Zim is before I used to have a bath, I used to cover the whole bath in Vaseline, and I used to stand up and see how long I could surf in the bath, right? That was a competition I played with myself. One day it went really wrong, OK? So we went to this lodge where there were loads of animals. The whole reason you go to this lodge is because animals roam freely.
Amazing.
Right?
Nice.
Amazing.
So I've gone in there, I've run a bath, I've put some Vaseline in it. I'm on holiday, all right?
How much Vaseline were you carrying?
And I stood up in the bath, and all of a sudden my mum knocked. She was like, "Miss, there's elephants walking outside." And there was a parade of elephants walking through the middle of the villas.
Wow.
So I've stood up now, and I've slipped, and I've gone straight onto the toilet seat.
Wow.
Which was
On your
covered
head.
with Vicks vapor rub. But that's a fascinating insight into your life.
The point to take from that, Jonathan, is I had a lot of fun in Zimbabwe.
You had a lot of
We
fun.
had a lot of adventures.
It sounds like a lot of fun, but it sounds like you were quite lonely, perhaps.
That's a fair point.
Because that's quite a lot of planning to basically vass up a bath.
OK, watch. Hang on. So before we alienate me here, you lot never played weird games as kids?
Not with Vaseline.
Yeah, OK, fine. Minus the Vaseline, what did you play?
I had a club. I had a club under the laurel bush at the back of the garden.
This is good.
But were there other members?
I think one.
No.
I think...
I had a two-member club.
Did you?
Mine was called the Rude Club.
The Rude.
Rude.
Oh, Rude.
And
The
from
Rude
Horror
Club.
Henry, and we would talk about the rude words that we knew. And the rudest one I could come up with was toilet.
Toilet. How old were you then?
Probably about 7.
7. Toilet.
I like
While you
the
were
Rude
coming up with toilet, he was greasing himself up. Running around. Now, Munya's going on tour, ladies and gentlemen. Exciting news. When's the tour? Has it started already?
Amazing.
When's it start?
Tour starts in October.
October.
And it's exciting because I'm going to get to bring my characters to life.
So people will see the characters they've enjoyed online on stage.
100%. And, you know, I got to connect with people over lockdown and stuff when my sketches were really blown up, but
Yeah.
there's so many people I haven't met. You know, there's so many people from all over who have supported me and, you know, got me here that I just want to get out there and have a bit of FaceTime, you know?
That's nice to meet the people who've kind of helped you get where you are.
100%. 100%.
Which you kind of don't always get. You don't get in film so much, do you, really? Unless because you put it out there and then you're not involved as much.
Yeah.
Well, especially being in something with such a loyal fan base like the Star Wars movies. But do you get a lot of the Star Wars love?
Yeah, there has been, yeah.
I can see you love it.
No, I like doing that one, but it was 26 years ago.
Was the Jedi costume rough to the touch? Was it quite... Or was it nice and... Do they line it with something?
No,
I always...
you had sort of silky kind of underwear, you know.
Don't spoil Star Wars for us. I don't want to think the Jedi's having a fight and he's wearing silk pants. I want them to be wearing Hessian.
I want rough, yeah.
I remember, sorry, I find the kid that's going to eventually be Darth Vader.
Oh,
and
Anakin.
Anakin. And I have a scene where I'm telling him that he's special. And I forget the lines, but I had this thing, midi-chlorian. So I went over to George Lucas and said, "George, what the F am I saying? Well, what's a midi-chlorian?" And I remember George said, "OK, you know in your gut, you have millions of bacteria." I said, "Yeah. OK, one of those has an intelligence." And then he laughed. And I was like... That's the only piece of direction I got in the whole movie. Midi-chlorians.
Made no sense whatsoever, did it? OK, so, Munya, what's the tour called?
Probably called Vaseline Baths, The Adventures. Live action.
And which one of your characters will we see on stage? Which ones are you doing?
We're going to see Johnny Oliver, probably, Unknown P, Barty Crease, the newsreader.
And who's your go-to character? If people want, you know, is going to get people laughing.
I mean, people like a bit of Nigella, and that's crazy because...
Oh, you do Nigella?
I do Nigella, yeah.
Wow.
Could you do a bit of Nigella for us? There?
Well, if there was like a T-shirt hanging around somewhere.
What, a black T-shirt? There we go. I've seen your Nigella. You're going to be amazed. It's like Nigella's in the room with you.
It's uncanny.
Let's do beans on toast.
OK.
All right, here we go.
Hold on, you normally have music, don't you?
Yeah, I do have some
music. I think we
music.
have the music, so we can really...
OK, here we go. Hello, everybody. So today we're going to be making beans on toast, and I love this meal because you can just pop it in and be finished in a matter of seconds. To start with, you're going to need a luscious loaf. Now, be careful, as some of the pieces may clump together, so you might have to separate the flaps. Next up, some of the pieces may get a little parched, so you will need some butter. Some people only use a little bit, but I always like a big, chunky knob.
I can't do any more. That's enough. You got the idea. OK. Well, you want to see Nigella and all the other characters, go along and see it on tour.